put the former Chancellor of the Exchequer in charge of a newspaper circulating millions of newspapers every day across London for
Propaganda.
free. At the same time, we have election expense control. You look at the newspapers all over Britain, run by billionaires. Billionaires personally own the newspapers. Yeah, but he ran away from Russia. Okay, they say he's friends with Putin. He ran away with billions of pounds. Where did he get the money? Russia, until 1991, was one of the most egalitarian societies in the world. These people acquired the money by stealing from the Russian population and then running away. Yes, good connections he had. And then, who does he employ? George Osborne. George Osborne, straight away, man in charge of the newspaper. He put the former Chancellor of the Exchequer in charge of a newspaper circulating millions of newspapers every day across London for
Propaganda.
free. At the same time, we have election expense control. You look at the newspapers all over Britain, run by billionaires. Billionaires personally own the newspapers. And then they circulate anti-Corbyn shit day in, day out. And we're supposed to believe a free and fair election. They've tried to rig it. They've tried to fix it. They've been slandering Jeremy Corbyn for 2 years, day in, day out. But you see, people are not bloody idiots. People are not idiots. They are seeing through the lies. And as they see through the lies, a groundswell of opinion is gathering behind Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party. And if you look at what happened at the football stadium yesterday, where Jeremy Corbyn, I think it was the band called the Libertines, they just invited him on the stage. Random audience of young people at a pop concert, cheering like at a football stadium for their favourite football team. That is the atmosphere of support that we can galvanise, we can mobilise to bring about a fundamental transformation in the entire balance of political forces in this country. And it can happen in the next 3 weeks. Let's organise, mobilise, communicate, discuss, friends, family. Ask each of you to do that with one person today, one person tomorrow. The multiplier effect of getting through, cutting through the lies is a powerful force. Once you break through one lie, people's minds open. That is why, first of all, opinion shifted into a polarised fashion. It shifted between Labour and Tory. UKIP vote collapsed. Liberal vote collapsed. It's quite clear this is an election between Labour and Conservatives. And Labour stands for the most radical transformation of society since 1945. It is the most radical, democratic and socialist programme we have proposed to the population since 1940. Because can be quite clear, we had some terrible leaders of the Labour Party. But now we have a man who has fought, campaigned on the right side of every single social justice, human rights, anti-war issue and social issue for transformation of society for the benefit of the people for the last 30 years and more since he's been in Parliament. Therefore, I believe if we can get the message out, we can win the election, and we can create a movement that can bring about change in society by participation, by democracy, by taking command over the resources in society and making them subject to democratic control. That is why I've supported Jeremy Corbyn since day one when he stood for leader of the Labour Party. We have the chance, and let's be clear, don't forget, for 2 years, Laura Koonsberg, the television programme, the radio programmes, the newspapers have been full of articles. The red terrorist, the red communist, the Marxist, the terrorist supporter, the Hamas supporter. All these lies. And then the constant theme was this: Jeremy Corbyn may be popular with the members, but he's not popular in society. Repeated again and again and again like a mantra, so that it dug deep in to the subconscious of the population. But now we see we're ahead of where Ed Miliband was when the election took place last time. We're ahead of where Gordon Brown was in 2010.
Not leading in the polls.
We're not leading in the polls yet, but we're moving in the right. We've gained 11 points. We've gained 11 points in 3 weeks.
A lot of people are very happy with the status quo.
Sorry?
A lot of people are very happy with the status quo.
I don't think that's true. You just said a lot of people are very happy with the status quo. I don't think so.
Well, we're going to find out.
I don't
People
think
feel powerless to change the status quo. That doesn't make them happy with it.
In a few weeks, we'll find out.
Well, if that be the case, we will continue to fight.
Of course.
We are building not just an electoral machine. We are building a social movement, a movement to transform society. Transforming society means shifting the balance away from the people that you were talking about, property owners as the primary right, to the people as the primary right, the majority as the primary right, which means democracy out trumps property. That's what we mean. Whereas the alternative is you have someone like Trump with loads of property who buys democracy. That's your alternative. And we believe in democracy and control by the majority over the resources in society to produce a new type of society, a modern, democratic, socialist society serving the needs of the majority. That's what Labour stands for. That's why I asked you to campaign for them. That's why I asked you to communicate with your friends and family. That's why I asked you to join the Labour Party, get involved, get active, participate in bringing about change that you need and you want to see. This is the first time in my lifetime that we've had a chance in Britain to genuinely bring about fundamental change. Let's seize that chance and participate, not only for this election, but to bring about, to mobilise that movement, to bring about the power to change society in the interest of the majority. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I just say individuals like Trump, Clinton, they make the rules.
They what?
They make the rules, what they say you have to obey, isn't it? This system is wrong. Well, this is very dictatorial. It is wrong.
They don't control everything,
says
like I said. If you've got the weight of support of the population, then you can change that. I believe that had Bernie Sanders been the candidate for the Democrats, he would have won. And that reflects the mood of change in society, even in America. Now, if America is prepared to vote for a socialist, why shouldn't Britain? After all, Britain was the foundation of the workers' movement. That's where it came from. A whole worldwide combination of the workers came from Britain. You know, they were very, and I remember reading when people talk about British workers, racist, stupid, and so. Let me tell you this. I've been looking back at history of the newspapers from the 19th century, and in the 1860s, British workers were mobilising across the country to oppose slavery in the United States. In other words, British workers have been progressive, not all of them, but have been progressive when they organise, when they combine, they awaken their consciousness. I'll give you one example. I used to work in a bus garage down the road here. Victoria Bus Garage it used to be. I used to be a bus conductor. And it had every nation, almost every nation in the world working there. And they would sit on separate tables, the Jamaicans there, the Nigerians there, the Colombians there. It was like that, it was all sort of divided. But when and there were some National Front people sort of sitting in the corner attacking people. But then when we mobilised a strike in support of the nurses, suddenly everyone was united together. We can overcome these divisions by bringing out the commonality of interest between people, no matter what religion, no matter what sex, no matter what ethnicity.
How are we going to do it?
Well, it's about mobilising, it's about combining and organising.
Like you said, every single one of us goes and has a conversation with one person who doesn't have a conversation with one.
Berlusconi of Italy, one of the richest guys, Bill Gates, paper out of the door. He has links with the mafia. They were
I mean, you'll be surprised. A lot of, the British establishment. One of the reasons they get so hysterical. Don't forget this. When Jeremy Corbyn was elected, leader of the Labour Party the first time round, in the first few days after his election, a serving general in the British Army went to press and said that Jeremy Corbyn might have to be overthrown by the army. That was what he said. That is why they talk this rubbish. They get him on television, they say, will you fire a Trident missile? What a stupid bloody question. What a stupid question. Will you kill the world's population? Because that's what you must do as Prime Minister. What a stupid idiot. They are nutcases to say that. It's a ridiculous position to take.
You actually understand the consequences of pushing that button. You would. You know what I mean? No one would.
Then what do we do?
Well, it's just political posturing. That's all it is. When the time comes, of course she's not going. Sorry?
Trump's president.
Yeah, he might, yeah.
I've even got a set of posters from Russia and a set of posters from China, what to do when a nuclear bomb flies. And what you don't do is go and fire at someone else and kill them as well. What's the point? What would be the point? What would be the point? When you're dead, someone else is going to be dead as well, so what? Is that good for you? No. So, the main thing is to ensure that doesn't happen. That's all we can do. And I don't know if any of you have seen the film A Very British Coup, but in A Very British Coup, one of the first things that the Labour Party leader, left-wing, radical Labour Party leader, Paul Perkins, who gets elected, one of the first things he does is he has his policy about nuclear disarmament, but not everyone agrees with him, but he manages to get it through. And then what he does is he carries out on live television the first dismantling of a nuclear weapon. And it begins the process of dismantling nuclear weapons with the objective of dismantling nuclear weapons across the entire planet. That would be a great television show.